Welcome to Deep Dive Wine Acoustics. Hello, I'm Andy Tarnoff, the host of the Deep Dive Podcast Network, and I'm joined by Courtney Taylor, the lead singer and co-founder of the Dandy Warhols. How's it going, Courtney?
Good, really good.
Are you excited to drink some wine today?
Very excited. Been waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, me too. Today we're drinking Chateau Prado Bandol.
Bandol, yeah. Yep, that's the little area within the kind of the Provençal region or adjacent.
Okay.
The most famous one is called Domaine Tempier Bandol. And I think that's a little out of our price range, but this is a really, really good one. It sits right exactly at the top of our range, which is $35. And I mean, I got mine at the most expensive grocery store in Portland, in all of Oregon.
Really?
And it was $37, so and change. So, but it's a $35 wine, you know.
I think I got hit with the Milwaukee tax on this wine because I picked mine up at Waterford Wine Company, and it was not $35.
No,
mine was $49.99. But you're right. This looking for it online, this is probably in our price range. But you know, who knows? Maybe there's
it's at
fluctuation
the top, so
pricing going on or something.
Yeah, the high should be pretty good, and. At that, when, you know, as we've noticed, when they sit at that upper end of our $22 to $35 price range, the euphoric wine experience is there.
Before we open this thing up and start this, so what is a varietal on this wine? It doesn't even really say on the bottle.
I don't know. We'll have to look it up. I can't remember.
French.
They have so many crazy words for grapes and stuff. I mean, I think it might be straight Mourvedre, which I don't know if we've done. Well, we haven't done a Chateauneuf du Pape, or CDP as we call it.
Right.
But those are heavy with Syrah, Grenache, and Mourvedre. Although CDPs, as we'll talk about when we do that, they have something like 12 or 14 grapes you can blend, which is the most I've ever heard of in any region on Earth.
Okay. And we're pairing this today with some fancy, awesome cheese from
Wisconsin.
Pleasant Ridge Reserve from Wisconsin.
From the Uplands Creamery, and this is the most award-winning cheese ever made in America. And it's called Pleasant Ridge Reserve from the Uplands Creamery, as you said. And it behaves like I've noticed, an aged Gouda, the famous Dutch cheese. And it's got a stinkiness like an aged cheese, and it's stunning. I ate a bunch of it about a week ago, and then I put the rest in the wine bag, and in the cheese bag. Sorry, cheese bag,
wine bag, yeah. Right?
Yeah, who's a cheese bag? Me.
So,
I love this stuff. So yeah, it's back out and stinking up my room, and.
Right.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Okay, we ready to...
Let's eat it. Let's drink it. Yeah, I just want to do better than I did in the last episode with my very long Somkey experience.
Get it out. Prepare for the usual punishment, Andy. All right.
I've been really thinking
this one,
about
the cork has gotten kind of depressed. You know, it's sometimes the corks get a little bit depressed.
Everybody gets depressed.
I know. Everybody hurts sometime. So I don't know why. I'm going to Google that and find out why sometimes the corks sink in. All right, here we go. See, you don't like this part. I like this part. This is one of those most exciting.
So embarrassing every time I screw the pooch on this one.
You have the two knuckle jobby, right? That has.
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I
Just
do.
checking.
Whether I know how to use it or not, it's a
I think that's
I'm doing it this time.
pretty apparent to everyone who watched the last episode.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Ah, there we go. Oh, that's a good. Oh, that's a great. Oh,
Look what I did.
oh, that is an interesting. Wow, cool.
Yeah, cool
That's
for you.
bringing back memories of somewhere wine tasting in somebody's cellar cave.
I wish I knew, because mine is halfway broken.
I think
But this time it wasn't my fault.
Did you get it all the way out?
No, it broke a quarter of the way through, and this time it didn't. It just was like,
Do you remember how I
barely put any pressure on it.
Do you remember how I suggested that you should probably not leverage it all the way out? You just leverage to get it started. Then you stand up and, press the bottle against the table and just pull it out. Or you can put it between your knees, lean over, press down on the shoulder with your left hand, if you're right-handed, and then pull straight up, and it will not break. Also, don't forget that the corkscrew needs to go as deep into it. So it's it takes 3 or 4. It's like a 7-point turn in a car. You don't just do it in one go. You have to do a few different things.
I swear to God, this time it wasn't my fault.
It was the wine's fault.
Now it's coming out.
That's what I always say. Works every time. No, it wasn't me, officer. It was the wine's fault.
Sometimes corks are just dry and crusty, right?
Yeah, this one isn't. I mean, this is not a very old wine. We're not going to run into many. I think the Cubio, the Spanish one, was the oldest wine we'll probably ever taste on this podcast. Oh, hey, do you remember the $70 wine that we did just because we were together at the wine shop in Portland? On sale for around $45 at K&L Wines. Get yourself half a case. I'm gonna. I still believe that was the best Italian wine I've ever had.
There, got it.
Congratulations. Go ahead.
This is the worst part of the podcast.
This is the best part of the podcast.
Yeah, maybe for you. All right.
Woo, that is a grippy guy. Big boy, lots of grip. Yeah, we'll see how long it takes for this guy to get into the... Ooh, I went and got crackers. Okay, this is going to be a loud, crunchy, plasticky experience for a moment here. Sorry.
Okay, I'm tasting... It tastes a little vinegary to me.
Yeah, but it doesn't smell vinegary, so I think that's just from having such hot climate down there. And I guess you could call this over-extracted just because of how dense it is. And, the tannins are just, grippy as a BMX bike handle grip.
That's grippy. I know, it's been a couple weeks since we've done this.
I know. I'm thinking it's 100% more Vedra. Because it just behaves like that, where it's really a wine or a grape that is added mostly for structure to kind of narrower grapes like Grenache.
I think my initial taste was a little vinegary and kind of bitter, but I'm withholding my judgment on this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that cheese!
That cheese is amazing, right? God, that cheese is good.
I can see why it's considered the best cheese made in America.
Maybe when you come to Milwaukee, we'll take a road trip.
Going. Let's go. We'll bring the wine. We'll spread it around.
That's a good idea. I could do like an on the road sort of episode.
Cheese and wine episode. Okay, the nose is awesome. It's great. Get your fat mitt around it,
already
warm
tastes
it up.
better. Yeah, it already like one bite of cheese and it already started tasting better for me.
Wines that are that wild to begin with generally change in like 2 minutes. I've found. God, that is a great wine.
It did. It really did. Or the cheese sort of. You want to play that game where we try to figure out what the experts say versus what we think?
Oh, black cherry, right off the bat, right? That's where they're going.
Fruits. You think so?
I think black cherry, black fruits, stone fruit, all that leather is probably going to say some cinnamon.
All right, let me Google this thing.
Let's do it.
And
we'll find out if it is indeed straight Mourvedre.
This was plentiful. I mean, you did not have a hard time finding this?
No,
in Portland?
it's everywhere at grocery stores. Nice grocery stores that have a real good, sommelier wine buyer, which kind of is everywhere in Portland now.
Right. Isn't it strange that, something that we can find at Whole Foods in one of our two locations, we can't find at the other, and the prices are all over the place. And
yeah. Yeah, well, that's why it's nice to go to multiple grocery stores and just really find out what's everywhere, Because I want everyone who watches this in America to be able to buy them, and probably in, most of the world, if it gets into America, it's and across America, then it's probably, it might be in Greece, Poland.
Yeah, we're going international on this thing. Let's see what I can find here.
This cheese is caramely. It's smooth and creamy without being a soft, messy cheese. It's
delicious.
This is an unbelievable cheese.
But I am seeing a couple places that are charging $56 for it, so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you just got a really good deal. All right, here's one. Here's one. It says it's a ferocious tannin in its youth.
Not wrong.
Nope. The nose evokes honey, white flowers with a hint of animal fur.
Okay, wait.
What?
No, but the honey, it really does. Wow, I didn't even notice that. It smells like a honey jar, but it's not sweet.
Oh, it does. It does. It does smell like a honey jar.
Well,
I'm a little confused by the hint of animal fur. Have you ever heard that before?
I think we're reading a review from a verbose and adroit fetishist.
That person just wants to taste animal fur.
Every day, all day.
When I lie down on my bearskin rug,
I taste animal fat.
You're not supposed to taste it. You're just supposed to lie on it. This is from Eric Asimov, the wine critic of the New York Times.
Eric Asimov?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Maybe related
really
to
cool.
Isaac.
Because I've just started the robot series, the iRobot series of Asimov, and I am convinced he was the smartest man ever in the English-speaking world.
That's a big statement. Could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
But we're talking about, Stephen Fry, Isaac Asimov.
Right.
I mean,
Let's
Isaac
see what
Newton,
else we got here.
Yeah. Some pretty smart dudes, but I think Asimov he had a job to do that nobody else like that had to do, which is imagine into the future. And I had this discussion with Pete that's the hardest thing to do because you have so many details that have to progress together or separately and then weave together because it's hundreds of years in the future and you're imagining people have settled other planets and then some haven't left. And what are they like? They're the kind of the stick in the mud. I'm not going anywhere, and they have the crappy, small-brained opinions. Oh my God, they're amazing. Steel Caves and Solaris are the two that I've read so far. Stunning. I mean, really.
Asimov was a smart dude, and he got a lot of things right about the near future, at least in my recollection of his stuff. Here's another review that says signature notes of cured meat. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah. Really? Wow. Okay. It's a pretty common one, particularly when you get down into the Mediterranean, France.
Okay.
Which this is down there in the southern Rhone, all that stuff. They go a lot of grilled meat, cured meat, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I got some more. Tar.
Say on. Oh,
slate.
I'm not getting the tar. I get a lot of tar in Napa wines.
Okay.
But I'm not getting any of it here.
Slate.
Don't know what it smells like.
I don't either. I didn't really think slate smelled like anything, but I guess I haven't smelled a lot of slate.
In the rain.
Yeah.
Slate
Tobacco
in the
leaf.
rain. Okay, what do you think?
I'm tasting the honey much more than I'm tasting the tobacco leaf, but again, I've never really eaten a tobacco leaf.
Well, is he talking about taste or nose?
Notes.
Okay, that's nose, I think.
Okay. Here's something I don't know what it is. Garog. Have you heard that word?
You made that up.
It's French. Garog. Garrigue.
That would be like Garag.
Garog.
Garag.
Je sais pas.
Like if vin is pronounced vin, then it would be
Garog.
Garag. Don't say the end of any. They don't say the end of any word in France.
No.
They don't bother.
Which makes it really hard. Yeah. Lavender
makes it easy for the speaker, though.
Right. True. Just fewer syllables to deal with. Tannins are grippy. Les tannins.
Tannins are grippy is turning out to be an understatement.
Grippy, yet fine like brushed suede. Okay. And
you are the man.
And you said you were guessing the grape situation. What did you think?
Mourvedre.
Correct. 95%.
Yeah.
You could do this for a living.
They can't afford me.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing the big boys and their reviews. So I think we're going to go with those and make our own review.
I think they all go to Domaine Tempier Bandol because in the 70s, Robert Parker went to Domaine Tempier, as everyone used to. All the movie stars and supermodels of the 70s used to descend on this place called Domaine Tempier in Bandol because there was an old lady. The family had been running the place for, I don't know, hundreds of years maybe. I'm guessing. I'm making shit up now. But
you're just going to make me correct it later. All right.
What I'll edit. No. I'm owning up to that one. I'm not going to make you chop it out. We're going to try to get through this with no edits.
One take, baby.
That's just in my crazy mind. But anyway, so Robert Parker, a much younger, young Robert Parker, goes there, and there are a lot of rooms in the mansion, in the chateau, that you can stay in. She's a great cook and just loves to cook all day for all these fabulous, famous young people who Robert Parker said it was the most sexually debauched scene he had ever bore witness to. Domaine Tempier Bandol. I've got a few bottles in my cellar because of that line alone. I hope he got some,
Yeah. Can we go to this place? Is it still there?
He wasn't a bad-looking guy. Yeah, I wonder if there's just... there must be pictures of just Brigitte Bardot.
Yeah.
Brigitte Bordeaux. And, all those amazing, rakish, nouveau cinema verite superstars. Serge Gainsbourg had to have loved the place.
This is kind of like a French Playboy mansion, but with legit wine and grottos, probably. And Wow.
I would guess. Okay, we're going.
We're going. You ever been to the
We're
Playboy
going.
Mansion?
Oh, God. Yeah, we played it at the legalized marijuana event.
Really? Can you tell me
Yeah.
about this? Or a little bit about it?
Not publicly.
Not in the podcast? Okay, well,
I'm
can you answer
kidding.
this?
I'm kidding. We didn't
Did
do
you go in the
anything weird,
grotto? Did you go in the
but
grotto?
of course.
Bucket list? I mean, for me, it is.
Oh, right, of course. Oh,
I
but I
just want to
didn't
be
even
invited.
know. I didn't even know that was like a bucket list thing. I didn't know. I was just like, hey, I'm here. You know, what's over there? I'll swim over there. And it was cool. And there is definitely a lot of sexiness at the Playboy Mansion. I mean, they have everything was designed in, I guess, the 60s
Right. Right.
for people to get it on and then get
Right.
back to partying, you know? Just like, oh, wow, you're so attractive. You're attractive. I let's do
Let's
it.
swim to the grotto. Yeah. Okay.
Or well, there are little rooms, you know. I know Fathead and his wife, I think who was his girlfriend at the time, you know, they're like, are these rooms just for people to get it on in? Yeah, I think so. Well, the lighting's probably the little bed, little narrow bed, you know. And they're like, let's do it. Lock the door. Back to the bar and, you know, record time. Probably not. Probably not record time. But maybe for them it is. I don't know. We don't have those conversations because they're inappropriate.
Right, but I just want to ask, was like playing at the Playboy Mansion, did you have a surreal out of body experience thinking like, this is my life now?
No. No, but I did have one of my best friends and his niece there, and they were just like, you are kidding me. I can't believe you got us into this. This is nuts. And it was, you know, it was before the politically correct kind of shaming thing took over. So it was really, really liberated. You know, it was cool. It was very cool.
Did you meet Hugh Hefner?
I couldn't really partake in it because I've had such a serious partner for so long, and
right,
you know, no one's going to do it like that, right? You know, you're going to get it on. You're going to, you know, you develop like being in a band. I've tried playing with other musicians in a temporary bands, or just like, hey, let's get together and make one song. Dude, there's nothing like it if you want to create the greatest music, like be in a band for 31 and a half years, and it's pretty easy, and you get to the level of true inspiration and excellence, you know.
That's a good transition because you have not really done the side project thing, right?
No, I invented a German art noise band that disappeared in 1978. I think I'm going to switch it to 77, just because we're shopping. But yeah, and we worked at, we took like 4 days and made an entire band's history of singles, and it's called One Model Nation, and it's a band that never really existed, but they are one of the formative groups of electronic music at all. And you know, that was the era of Tangerine Dream and all that stuff, so we just changed all the other bands' names to like Tonal Float and things like that. I mean, we've got Nina Hagen appears in it. Of course, David appears in it because he lived there back then. And Giorgio Moroder, who is an Italian expat doing all his great work. Yeah, he actually, the first electronic hit single in history was I Feel Love.
I was about to say that. I love that song. It was done in Germany in like
I have a
75 or 73.
Not in my movie. It's like, you know, inaccurate we time stretch the fuck out of everything because we don't care. It's not our country. It's not our scene. It's just my personal fixation. And I want to turn people on to this era and show them a bit of a window into what was happening there and how cool it was. But I personally don't dork out on the details. And I know there are many people who do around the world, and I'm going to get a bunch of shit for it if I get to make this movie. But just ahead of time, I don't care.
The real story on that song is pretty fascinating. I mean, Giorgio, like, he scored that thing, like, did some looping that was never done before.
Well, you couldn't get a synthesizer to go and without going warming up the diodes and everything would start to warm up. It would go and it would get out of tune. It would slow down. And he hired a kid, Peter, can't remember Peter's name, but Peter, who worked for a classical composer. They were working in München, which we call Munich. So they're in Munich.
München. Yeah.
München. And I believe it was in Berlin. There was a classical composer that became fascinated with this electronics idea. And so he had a younger dude, super dork, Peter somebody, who apparently one day solved that problem. Not for pop music, not for disco, not for electronica, for a guy doing classical music and wanting to incorporate electronics in it. And somehow Giorgio Moroder got wind of this and said, hey, can you come down here? And the kid was cool enough to do it. And the symphonic guy was cool enough, figuring, oh, I'll learn a lot too, maybe.
That's
so
crazy.
He went down, and then and then it wasn't just even one note.
We did kind of go off on a tangent here because I was asking you if you've actually been in a real side project, not a fictitious screenplay side project. And not really, right?
No.
Because the rest of the Dandy Warhols have, and that's cool.
I've worked with other people, and they're frustrating, and they get tripped up on amateur phylactics like emotional attachment to their part's ego things, and they don't have the language skills to easily stay positive in the verbal assessment of what our problem is, and they go, this sucks, and that's, so you don't ever say that sucks. You just don't. You go, I kind of was hoping, were you thinking maybe would it also be cool if, that's the kind of language you got to use, and you learn that pretty slowly, but once you learn it as a band, it's in there, and you can continue then for 31 grueling but kind of awesome years.
May I remind you to take that same attitude on this podcast while I'm editing this thing?
While you're opening bottles of wine?
No, fuck that. I'm terrible at that. You can make fun of me for that. You can tell me I suck at that, but just during the process. Just
yes.
Producer note. The reason I'm bringing all this up is because the Dandy Warhols are working on a new album.
Yeah.
And that's a unique opportunity to talk about something different that we haven't talked about in the previous 8 episodes. Tell me how that's going. Tell me that process. Tell me where you are. Give me the behind the scenes vision.
Yeah, we got like four
songs.
We got like 4 tracks that we could probably mix and release right now.
Okay.
The whole thing is, we with the last record being super heavy hard rock, it kind of led us to, well, now let's experiment with one of the other niche genres that we've been experimenting 1 or 2 songs per record for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So dreamy, creamy, hypnotic, mental massage. And so that's what this whole record will be. It'll just be about beauty.
So if I can ask the process, are the songs written yet, or are you writing them as you go?
We almost always write them as we go. You know, I have little chord changes I like with melodies. And then in another part of my phone, I have words that have come to me. I smoke a lot of grass, so
That probably helps.
There's
right?
just you sort of can't keep it in, it just happens to you and you can't help it. That melodies and, so there are instruments laying around everywhere. And then obviously we're all chipped now. We carry our phone around or we get uncomfortable.
Right.
So, yeah, it's always there. I can always put any ideas down and then kind of try to connect them or mix and match later.
You've got some roots of songs, and then I'm just trying to put myself in your head. Like you'll be like, "Hey, Pete, let's do this," and then you guys talk about it, work out something. Then you send some ideas to Fathead, to Zia, and you all kind of This is more or less remote, right? I mean, Fathead's in Australia. The rest of you guys are in
He sends us
Portland.
stuff, and then we work it into this format, for want of a better, more accurate term, into this genre. Yeah. And the French are just so much better.
Genre.
Genre, 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 genre.
And then we send it back, and so we're about to send a couple back that I have completed lyrics on and deliveries and had the vibe of the delivery all together, and then he'll lay down his, because he'll lay down all the harmonies, but he'll do shuz de biv de was it, and that means whereas like that's what I want the melody to do, and
I like that.
I just don't have any words, so he'll shuz de wisda, and then and I mean like 3-part harmonies too, like full vocal arrangements, making
just
up
gibberish,
just gibberish. Yeah. If it was now if we were an Icelandic band, people would say they made up a whole language. That's what they say about Icelandic bands, that shuz de wisda was did, and leave it on the record. But we don't, and I don't know why, because I'm too old school, I guess, for that. I'm a curmudgeon. Zia'll come in. She'll come in 1 out of every 4 times that she says she's going to come in.
You're going to make me cut that out, aren't you?
Maybe.
Check.
Guess we're not doing it in one take.
So how long is this going to take? Like you started it in
I would like to finish
year.
in September. We've got a long summer of traveling. We all have vacations and we have a tour. So I think I would like it done by September, and then maybe come out in January, February.
So while you guys tour and these songs are kind of being worked on, do you try them out live, or do you only play songs that are done and produced?
Well, this isn't the kind of thing that we're probably going to ever play live. It's such a studio exercise,
So this is not going to be one of those albums that's going to lead to a classic banger hit single?
No. So hopefully that will just stay on, and we will be able to, always have people who are ready to hear this and want to have this experience. So when we show up in Sofia, Bulgaria, there'll just be these people going, we love live music, and then they will go, God, this is yet another small step from just great live music to a sculpted a live aural sculpture.
Well, there are definitely bands or musicians who play different kinds of shows. Like Beck will sometimes do his sad, serious music, or he'll do his in one show, or he'll do his
He'll do a full
fun,
tour of that,
fun
or
stuff.
he just
Yeah,
he just
like
has.
it's like this is what you're gonna get. He's gonna do like not Odelay,
Or only Odelay.
or only Odelay.
Okay, I know he has a James Brown approach to running a band. They thought they were going to dinner. You're not going to dinner. None of you are going to dinner because I'm changing the set for tonight, and that's where you're going to spend your dinner, is listening to these songs in your hotel room, learning them, and then a half hour later, you're showing up and you're going to rehearse them for 2.5 hours and all that stuff. So
That's not how you tour.
God, Pete would like that.
Pete would like that, I think.
Peter and Brandon and I could do it. I mean, we are, classical, trained musicians where we had to drill like, SEAL Team 6. But
yeah,
Zia, fortunately, keeps us sane. She's like, there's no fucking way I'm doing that, except for the symphonic show that we played with the Oregon.
but that was very serious business. You had
that wasn't a whim. That wasn't like my whim of like, hey, you guys, tonight we're spending all day. Our sound check isn't going to be 45 minutes. It's going to be 6 hours, and we are going to completely make a new set. Yeah.
I do want to talk about the wine some more, but
I want to
while
get
we're
back
on
to
this
the
topic,
wine because it's frickin' great.
all right, let's talk a little bit about the wine, and then I have a couple more music things I want to ask you to talk about. I think I've been drinking it while you've been monologuing, and it's definitely smoothing out, or I'm smoothing out, or
You're
both.
smoothing out. You're large and smooth.
I am not as edgy as I was 43 minutes and 44 seconds ago.
God, is that how long it's been going on?
It feels like no time has passed, Courtney.
I know, I have to shut up.
No, it's fine. Anyone who is watching or listening to this podcast, which please like and subscribe, must realize that we are not here to rush this. Like a fine wine, literally.
Wow. Good call. Good eye.
You gotta, we're not gonna, if you can't review a bottle of wine if you just slam it. I mean,
okay, how much wine do you have left? I am down to the top of the label, maybe a centimeter below the top of the label. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit ahead of you. I'm about a third of the way through the label. But you've been telling
You're making
the
me
stories.
proud. I'm proud of you. Yeah,
Thanks.
I've been telling too many stories.
Do you have any questions?
To the wine.
Do you want to know
I want to
anything
hear what
about-
other people
from me?
say about it. I want somebody else besides Asimov, besides Isaac Asimov's wine-loving grandkid, who he probably learned about wine by inheriting a pant load of money from one of the greatest selling authors of history.
I don't have any more information to give you, but I could ask around. I could ask some.
Is he the
people in the
only
know.
person that's ever reviewed this wine?
Let me look again. It doesn't. I mean, who should we look up? Jeb?
Sure. Did you already try Parker? Why would he go here when he could go get laid at Tempe? Twice, thrice.
You got. I mean that answer works for pretty much any question, doesn't it? He gives it a 91.
That's it.
He calls it a 91. He finds a decidedly rich, rounded bouquet of warm plums.
Yeah.
Licorice.
Oh, I didn't. Damn,
I don't
he's
taste
right.
it. Do you? I don't taste licorice.
Oh, I get a little smell and a little taste. Definitely, that's something I'm familiar with that I was missing. I definitely get the black licorice thing.
Anise. Sorry.
You're an anise.
You're an anise. Baking spices.
Up your anise. Yeah, the spices. I thought cinnamon, but yeah, baking spices. I got that. That's pretty standard.
Hints of chocolate.
Yep.
Slightly oxidative quality.
That's when you were saying it's vinegar at the beginning, because vinegar is oxidized red wine.
Okay. I think it's in a
Nailed
91.
it, buddy. That's not enough.
That seems low.
Yeah, that's a 92, 93 for sure. 93, definitely. It's a very, very good wine. This is a great wine. I mean, for normal wine drinkers, if you like kind of robust wines and you're going to have like a roast or a grilled meat with it, this is what you want, and you will drink the shit out of it all night. Dude, you will drink it into the wee hours sitting under the summer starry sky in, I don't know, Croatia or something, where they're just grilling the fudge out of meats all night, and you're just more.
I think it's great.
I love it.
But just like many of the other ones, it has changed, because the first couple sips I didn't think were that great.
And you're
but now it
finding
is.
That is the nature of great wine, is to suck out of the gate and catch up later and win the race.
I would like to make you play a song.
Okay.
I was in our last episode, we were talking about Search Party, which
Right.
reminded me to go back and listen to 2016's Distortland, which is a great album.
Thank you. Yeah. It has
As
a great title, Distortland. Distortland. If you live in Portland, Distortland is Portland, Distortland.
Yeah. It's
And
great.
what has happened to my city? You know, my family's been here since the Civil War. So I grew up taking dates to the same restaurants that my parents in high school went on dates. I went in high school.
Right.
Fuck, I'm getting kind of fucked up. Wow.
Well, before you get too fucked up, I think it's a great record, and I think that there's. Well, I mean, keep going. Don't let me stop you. But I wanted to talk about the song "Stigo" really quickly.
Okay.
First of all, it's a great song. Second of all, what does it mean? Third of all, it's 4 chords throughout the entire song. I was wondering if I could just pick your brain on that and force you to play a couple seconds of it. And
Some things you got to get over. It's actually called Some Things You Gotta Get Over, but
that's what it means?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
Some Things You Gotta Get Over. Which would have been a much better title, wouldn't it?
I thought it was an inside joke that I just didn't get, but that actually makes more sense.
Yeah, it's normal to do that. Certainly was back then. Okay, what do we got? And this has crimson and clover taking on over. Minute by minute I could say, but I won't stop tripping about everything at a shoulder high. Oh, some things you gotta get over. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. It's kind of everybody's favorite song nowadays. And had we been on a Capitol or a Universal back then, that would probably be today our biggest hit. And, you know, because it went sort of, we were a one-hit wonder at Junkie, Not If You're Last Junkie on Earth. And then, you know, 7 years later, we were a one-hit wonder again with Bohemian Like You.
Bohemian, right?
And then like 4 or 5 years later, we were yet another one-hit wonder with Used to Be Friends. Mm-hmm. And then that would be another, 7 years later, 8 years. No, that'd be like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have hits if you don't have a huge amount of money and a huge record label pushing you. It just doesn't happen. And all of your indie hits are secretly major label hits. There's always
So
someone gets outed later for that. But
That record was not on Capitol.
oh God, no! I think we were done at Capitol by 2008. Okay. And what's Distortland? 14?
2016? 2016, I believe.
Is that it?
I think.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, you'd know better than me, but I believe it was 2016.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, so what you're saying is a great song, but where's it going to go because there's nobody behind you to blow it up?
Yeah, it just goes out to our fans, and I think we made a lot more fans in England because it got used in a TV series and then a movie, a big movie where everyone goes to Glastonbury and kind of they're all young, presumably, hot and interesting people.
Right.
And then they go to Glastonbury and their trysts happen and they have to wake up after a couple days of tripping balls, I would guess. And this is what I've been told. I haven't seen the movie. But it was a pretty big movie. And so, people when we're in the UK or Northern Europe, they shout it out. They want to hear it because it
cool.
Meant a lot to them in their lives at a certain point.
So when you wrote the song, this is just my imagination here. Did in your mind, did it start with did it, or was that after? Do you remember?
Too long ago. Okay.
Well, generally speaking, do you come up with a hook, or do you, when you're writing a song, like what do you think of first? Are you thinking of the chords? Are you thinking of the words? Or are you thinking
I wish it was that consistent. I would do it all the time. I'd get more out of myself if I knew how to do it.
All right. Well, I thought that was a really good question, but
it is a really good question.
Your answer is so-so.
It sucked. The fact is, I have to wait for it, and I have to keep my mind and my soul open to whatever. And I have to try to live. I learned this. This is one thing I've learned. So here's a real answer: live with a open mind and not in a stupid, cheesy way. I mean, definitely have your opinions and no bullshit when you hear it or see it, but live in a way that you can throw socks, underwear, and T-shirts in a bag, in a backpack, and get on a cheap flight somewhere at any time and just see what happens. Particularly if you want to be a songwriter, because that is sort of what it's made of, is, being unafraid of a world that you're afraid of.
So we're coming up on the hour mark, so you're right. It's probably a good time to wrap this thing up.
I know, and I want to have the rest of this with actual dinner.
Yeah. Oh, the cheese.
This is gorgeous. This is a very good wine. This is a 93, 94 point wine. This is.
I am starting to taste the. I'm tasting the licorice now too.
Yeah. God, it's really good, man. And this cheese is amazing. Again, let's plug this cheese again, because we've never done that really. Oh, maybe we had. I like the Organic Farms cheddar, but the white kind of Irish style cheddar.
Pleasant Ridge Reserve, grass-fed cows. Best of show from the American Cheese Society.
Uplands Creamery.
Very, very good. And you can get it at Whole Foods, or at least here you can.
Really?
Yeah.
You can definitely not get it at Whole Foods here. I had to go to the coolest cheesemonger in all of Oregon, and it's in a little stone bricky garage that they just roll up the door, and they've got tons of jams and Spanish white fish snacks and treats and breads and crackers, and it's just so cool. It's very European. and it's called, but it's mainly super exclusive cheesemonger called Cowbell in Portland. And there's nothing like it in Portland, but it's the kind of place that we go to and buy stuff in every other country in the world that we go to, whether we're in Australia or Spain or New Zealand or, you know, and it's cool. So if you're in Portland and you're watching this, go to Cowbell and get ready to have a little exotic mini vacation in, you know,
Go
spend
crazy
45
on
minutes
cheese.
there and
Yeah,
talk to the people. Yeah, this cheese is nuts.
it's delicious. It's amazing. It was $4 at Whole Foods, by the way. So
Oh my god,
I
it
gotta
was
be
like
good.
28. It was like
Yeah,
28.
so whatever Milwaukee wine tax I paid on the Chateau Prado Bandol,
Yeah, you made it back.
I made
on
up on cheese. Yeah,
local dodge on the cheese.
right. All right. So we're giving this one 2 enthusiastic thumbs up.
Yeah,
We haven't had too many bad bottles of wine. A couple, but I'm proud of
yeah.
you.
Well, I think the trying to get wide distribution wines and at a reasonable price range is a job that somebody needed to do, and I think of myself as a bit of a cultural janitor. You know,
You're a
I'll
man.
clean up
We're men of the people. We're servants.
Absolutely.
We're public servants. We're wine alcoholic servants for the people of
Yes,
YouTube
we are.
and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I feel like we always got to wait till after a nap or maybe the next day to.
Did you have a nap?
Yeah, a
Me
long
too.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I curled up on the sofa with my dog.
it's hard to really to give a final review after drinking a bottle of any of this stuff, I think.
Yeah, particularly if it's that low energy. That was a sleepy wine. It was a good wine. I did try it a couple hours later after my nap, and it
Yeah.
doesn't get better with decanting. It actually gets more sour and weird. It's a messy
Yeah.
wine. I think you're probably supposed to just pop it and drink it.
For what I for a $50 bottle of wine, I was not particularly blown away by this one.
I don't think you got the right price. I mean, that's crazy because it was 34 for me.
Yeah.
It was right in our top end of the pocket. But that being said, it does not compete with other $35 wines that we've drunk.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. It didn't really strike me as anything special. I think it's fine.
Yeah, and the drug itself wasn't elative.
Some of them have left me feeling excited. Some of them left me feeling giddy and silly. This one just it's
Put
wine.
you to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay, cool. Well,
I
now
don't
we
know.
know.
Well,
Provençal wines
let's find
shouldn't
one
be
that's a
that
little more.
expensive.
Yeah, let's find one that makes us funnier and
Okay,
giddier,
let's do
more
the
ridiculous.
I believe we got a Castello Castellare. Let's do that next time. Yeah, let's do that on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, do
In the meantime,
Classico.
people should be liking, subscribing, all that shit, supporting our
Always.
podcast and telling us
Yeah.
what they think, and give us suggestions on what you want us to drink. There's a lot of wine
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, and it's got to be things you can get at a grocery store between 22 and $35. That's kind of the point of us doing this, is to have a
Yeah, and
very
ideally ones that we
useful.
can find.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to be doing pretty good. We've got 3 backups right now, and we've done, I don't know, almost 10 podcasts.
Yeah, we have. They're coming up on. This was 9. So keep it up.
Nice work.
All right, man. I'm putting this
All
one
right,
on
I'll
the
see.
shelf as a backup. I'm not going to buy a case of this stuff. You? Are you going to buy a case of it?
No. My wine cellar's full. I just maxed it out. You know the Lagerla that we got for $70. The 1 year older of it was on sale at K&L. So I got a case of that sent up, and I think I'm good for until next fall.
Yeah, we'll
for
see
wine.
about
My
that.
cellar is packed.
Let's build a bigger cellar.
No,
I
hoarding.
can build any cellar, which should be a bigger one.
Yeah, you got to fill it.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, dude. I'll catch you next time.
Okay, sweet.
Thanks.
Thanks.